Okay, we are off. Welcome to the Half a Dozen Hospitality Podcast, Chef Jeremy Howell.
Thank you for having me.
My absolute pleasure. I want to quickly say thank you so much for giving me your time. I say this to all my guests because I believe that time is the most valuable thing that we have. I know you're a very busy guy. You're a father. You're a head chef. You're running a kitchen. You're doing a bunch of other things. So on behalf of myself and the listeners, I want to thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it.
No problem.
So I reached out to Jeremy, I think, like 18 hours ago, 20 hours ago.
Pretty much.
As I was set to come to Cape Breton to spend the next 6 days kind of telling the story of what's going on in Nova Scotia in regards to the food scene. I've been away for 15 years myself, and coming back, I want to be able to give the listeners, but also myself, a bit of an education of like what's gone on in the last 15 years, what is currently happening, and then what will be happening. So we sit here today at the, how am I saying it correctly? Inverary Resort here in Bedeck, Cape Breton. Beautiful day.
Beautiful day.
If you guys are on iTunes or any of the audio platforms, I encourage you to head over to YouTube as well and check out the beautiful scenery. It's warm in here, but we're going to make it work. We got some beverages to keep us cool. The air conditioning may be working in the back, maybe not.
A
little bit. But give myself, because again, we just met literally less than a day ago via the internet.
Yeah.
So give myself a better understanding and listeners a better understanding of who you are, what you do, and why you do what you do.
Okay. My name's Jeremy Howell. I'm originally from Ontario. Moved to Cape Breton about 15 years ago.
Okay.
Been working in kitchens my whole life. Never had another job. Started in the dish pit, the old story goes.
Yeah.
Worked my way up the ranks. Worked in Sydney and Cape Breton for about 11 years. And then I moved to Halifax for 4 just to see what was going on there, learn from different chefs, different cuisines and stuff like that. And then the Inverary Resort offered me executive chef position, so jumped on that right away to come home back to Cape Breton. So
now, so 15 years ago, you came further east from Ontario.
Yeah,
and this became home for you, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Been back to Ontario once.
Oh, okay.
So
this is it.
This is it. Yeah.
What has it been like for you, and how long has it been? Since you've been holding the executive chef position here.
I started at the Inverary in April.
In April.
Yeah.
Oh, so still pretty fresh.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So what has that been like for you as far as a learning curve? Do you feel like, I mean, obviously this is kind of a leading question. I'm sure the answer is yes. But do you feel like through your experience that you've had in your career working in kitchens, like you said, literally from the bottom up, do you feel like you are fully prepared for this? Or was there a moment where you kind of behind closed doors, you're going like, I can't believe I'm the exec chef of this place?
Well, I mean, the last 4 years I've had last 10 years I've had leadership roles.
Right.
Executive sous chefs, chef de cuisine in Halifax. So leadership roles kind of not really anything new to me, I guess.
Right.
So, I was just ready to, train a new team. Like my team that I had in Halifax are all grown and in their own leadership roles now. So,
okay.
Yeah, so it was nice to come home and bring what I learned in Halifax and bring it back here and just train people to be better.
Right. And what is, for the listeners to get a better idea of what is like the style of cuisine? What is the menu here? What are you and your staff putting out day in and day out? Like, how would you describe it?
So it's a lot of seafood, coming from Cape Breton, of course.
Yeah.
We kind of went on 2 tiers. We have like the pub fare, but you say like fish and chips, fried chicken.
Right.
And then we have like the higher end stuff like halibut bouillabaisse, surf and turfs, different kinds of surf and turf, but taking classical dishes in a way, but turning them into something new.
Right.
Our lobster dinner is not your regular lobster dinner at all.
Hilda was telling me, I was asking Hilda up at the front, shout out Hilda. If you guys don't know Hilda, ask for Hilda when you guys visit. I was asking her, I said, Hilda, what should I get on the menu? And for 15 minutes, she basically told me, get everything on the menu.
Yeah.
She's a big fan of what you're doing, which is exciting and great because for those, again, you don't know, Hilda would be, and her staff would be like your first touching point when you come onto the property.
Yes, of course.
And to have someone that's so passionate about the menu, about what you're doing, is such a great thing. But yeah, sorry, you describe your lobster dinner because it's different from your traditional, I'm assuming people aren't putting on the plastic bibs and getting dirty.
No, not at all. And that's where we wanted to like make it a little bit more elegant than putting on the lobster bib and cracking it open. It's not all that sexy in the dining room kind of thing. So basically it's shelled or deshelled lobster, claw and tails, and they're butter poached. And then it's served with potato salad, but it's a layered potato salad. So there's like crispy potato, mushroom infused whipped potato, and then layered, and then having like your Dijon mustard, but we took mustard seeds and then popped them in a pan.
Oh, okay.
So they turn has like a slight smoky burnt popcorn flavor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then served with like garlic chips and celery ribbons, and so it's kind of playing on the potato salad.
Right, but a little more like sophisticated, if you will.
Yeah, just kind of dissecting all the ingredients and then layering them. So
it's interesting. I got to be honest here. I actually creeped your Instagram a bit last night before I took the trip down here today. Yeah. And there was a video that stuck out to me that you shared. You were doing the edible balloon.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when you're describing this lobster dish to me, it sounds very experimental. It's like you're trying different things. So how much of your style is experimenting? And is that what, like, because in the video you look like a kid, like you're having so much fun. Is that what you're doing? Is that you're just having fun? You're just taking a riff off of
there's like two tiers of that, two sides of that coin. It's taking classical dishes and revamping them into a new way.
Right.
And then also just going in the fridge and, okay, what are we going to use? And just kind of making it work. Using different techniques.
Right.
Stuff like that. So. Can
you describe to the listeners the edible balloon?
Oh, okay. So Grant Achatz from Chicago at the Olympia restaurant, one of his chefs created the floating balloon dessert. Mm. And all it is a mixture of sugars, and you fill it with helium. But you have to get the sugars right. Yeah. Or it won't stick, or it'll get too hard. And then they put it like on a string. That's an edible string. Yeah. But we didn't get that. We just had ribbon for that. But we me and my roommate were talking about it for months. And then we finally went and got a helium tank and all this, and then we dipped the tube in sugar, blow it up, and it actually stuck. It was pretty cool.
Do you think something like that would ever grace the floor here at the Inverary?
Oh, I would love to, for something like a special event.
Yeah, something like a special menu, like some kind of event. Yeah, you could see that happening.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
And help me understand how much. I'm always intrigued by exec chefs or CDCs or whatever they are in the kitchen. How much kind of leash do they have in regards to, like, this is your kitchen, you do what you want, or you have to play within this box? How is it for you? How is it set up here? Are you able to just create whatever you want to create? Could you do edible balloons at every table for a special event, or is there a box that you have to fall into because this is Nova Scotia, and Nova Scotia is lobster rolls and clubhouses, and I mean it's not, but I'm just saying that's kind of the stigma, right?
Yes, it is. So basically, when I got here, there was last year's menu, and we kind of sat down and talked about, okay, what do we need to have on the menu for people? Like, you're always going to have fish and chips.
Right.
You're always going to have this. You're always going to have to have that. So, like, the higher, like, the more expensive stuff, the higher end, is sort of in a way, like I said, we're playing on classics, but doing it new. Because, again, it's Nova Scotia, Cape Breton.
Yeah.
You kind of got to play in the realm of your clientele. And then, like, I feel our customers are starting to approve.
Oh, okay.
Like, the style we're starting to go.
So they're like voting with their dollars and more trending towards, the innovative ways.
You got to get them to trust your cooking, right? You got
to build that trust first, right?
Yeah, you can't just go, okay, we're just going to do all of this, and then they're going to what? So there's a fine line of getting them to trust you and then going innovative ways, but also making sure, like, if they don't want to try the innovative stuff, they can get their fish and chips.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
and that's something I think is so intriguing. And so I do work consulting with restaurants all over the world, and something I always have found to be a challenge, and this is a general sweeping statement, but that communication between back of house and front of house can sometimes be stressed a bit, and sometimes messages are lost or not conveyed correctly. So when you are trying to build out a menu and trying to ever so slightly influence your guests, ever so slightly influence the population, be like, hey guys, a lobster dinner can look differently. How do you, or have you even thought of it consciously, how do you go about educating your staff, both in the back of house and the front of house, is like, guys, this is where we're going. This is what we're trying to do. So please, push this dish, or please make sure you know about this dish. Like, do you have something set as an exec chef on how you best communicate with the front of house to make sure that message is getting through, that people aren't too turned off by, well, I want my plastic bib.
Yeah.
Right?
So basically, whenever we do a menu rollout, I always have front of house, back of house, sit down and try everything.
Okay, yeah.
And then, of course, some of the words on the menu, not everybody understands. So
such as?
Chicken confit, or
right,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
They don't know the technique or story behind it.
Right.
So that's where we sit down and everybody eats, has some wine, and asks questions. And then, I explain the technical term, and then there's well, you can say this.
Right.
If you don't want to tell a story about what technique or what this is and stuff like that. So that really helps a lot, especially when you have the back house, front house sit down together and eat.
For sure.
Yeah, because for
whatever reason.
For all of time, there's always been a divide. So there's always the front house and the back house. But that's where I like to start off the year like that.
Is there any way that you think, this is me trying to download information from you and your experience, is there anything you've seen or that you've implemented here at the Inverary that you think is a way to knock down that wall, to get rid of those silos as far as communication? No delineation. Front of house is back of house and back of house is front of house, and we're all one team. Have you seen anything in your as a part of a team, or now as a leader of a team, that's really, really worked, or are you still trying to figure that out?
For the most part, I don't know. Maybe it's just my leadership style,
right?
But it seems to be going great.
Good.
There's not a big divide. In some kitchens I worked in, it's all at war.
It's palpable. You can feel it in the air. Right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and that's where if we keep it, the dynamic is one. If the back house upsets front of house, they're coming out into the dining room, and then you can see it on their face, and then it's passing on to the guest, and so I try to stop that altogether. That way the guest doesn't feel anything, right? Because it does go out into the dining room.
Oh, big time! Have you read Setting the Table by Danny Meyer?
No, I've not.
I got to get you that book. That's going to be my gift to you for your time today, is Setting the Table. I'm going to send that book to you. Okay. But he talks about, in that book, he talks about skunking. Danny Meyer owns Shake Shack, Gramercy Grill. He used to own 11 Madison Park. These are all his restaurants. So extremely successful restaurateur. He talks about in the book skunking. And skunking is just like you said. If someone comes on shift, and look, we're all humans. We have lives outside of these four walls, and we have to be sensitive to that. Especially as an exec chef, you have to be, playing those roles, make sure everyone is comfortable. But at the same time, we have a job to do as well. So Danny Meyer talks about skunking, saying, look, you can't come onto the floor or onto the pass bitching about your boyfriend forgot to pay rent and now you're getting evicted, or someone just bumped your Mercedes, whatever it is. That is going to affect the team, and then the team's going to affect the room. That vibe exists. That is a real thing.
Oh yeah, leave your shit at the door.
Yeah, exactly. But again, that's a juggling act. Is how do you create, especially now with human rights being so different than they were 15 years ago, right? Yeah. So you have to really, especially in your position, you have to really find that line between cracking a whip, if you will, but also being a little bit softer with your touch to be like, hey man, I understand this is really difficult, but I need you on your A game tonight, so can you give me that?
Oh, definitely. There's just discussions like that. And I've had an issue at the beginning of the season where, stuff wasn't left at the door, and I had to bite it in the ass. But then after the fact, at the end of the shift, we have a discussion, what's going on? Everything all right? There's that part that I try to uphold too, to make, I do care. Right. But we're going to the service. Yeah. Let's get our heads on straight and let's do it.
And I've always likened this industry, especially like this team here or at a different restaurant down the street. It's like sports, right?
Oh yeah.
And if I'm the running back and you're the offensive lineman, like I need you to make sure you're making blocks, and you better hope that I'm coming through. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we need to work together. So
Yeah,
I
for
need
sure.
if whatever happened at home, like that doesn't really matter right now. What matters is we're trying to get down the field.
Yeah.
And I think that is such an important piece to the success of this industry for it being sustainable, is people like yourself and roles that you have taking it seriously, but finding a way to, again, make people feel comfortable,
Mhm.
but also make sure that you're just absolutely smashing every service
Oh yeah, of course.
and just exceeding expectations, if you will.
Yeah.
So going back to changing speeds a bit, going back to what originally brought me here to Cape Breton is to really kind of discover what's been happening since I've been gone. So I've been in BC. BC arguably is culinarily different. We have there's far more restaurants there. The terroir is different. Obviously the ocean being there, there's a big seafood influence as well.
Yep.
But what would you say, if you could summarize in a few lines or a paragraph, what have I missed in Nova Scotia in the past 15 years? Obviously, you've been in different markets. You went from Ontario, you came to Nova Scotia, you were here, then you were in Halifax, now you're back again. What's gone on? What's impressed you? Trends you think are sticking, not sticking? Like, where has Nova Scotia been on the culinary map, in your opinion?
I mean, moving to Halifax did open my eyes to a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Even in Cape Breton, like in Sydney, there's different cuisines coming out now, which is nice to see. It's
Mhm.
not just your like Case Cozy Corner and stuff like that, or like your
Right.
pubs. There's different cuisines out there now. Being in Halifax, I saw a lot of restaurants open up and really go for what they truly believe in, like not following the box of
So they're doing the helium balloons.
yeah,
You know
like
what I mean? Yeah,
they're
right.
stepping outside of the box and really pushing the
Right.
envelope,
Right.
which is great to see. There's just only so many restaurants that can serve fish,
Fish
and chips.
yeah. Yeah.
So there was, I mean, even here in Bedeck, the Bite House,
Yeah.
he was
Yes.
on top of his game,
Crushing it.
crushing it.
Yeah. His food looks gorgeous. Unfortunately, closed for the season. Doing
He's doing takeout.
takeout. Right. Right.
On Saturdays, I think.
Right.
But yeah, like he really pushed the envelope, and he got the following. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like he was selling out his restaurant the season before
Yeah.
within a couple of weeks. Like
Yeah.
crazy.
It's crazy.
But it's good to see that though. There's different options.
And it shows that it's possible.
Yes, exactly. Like we don't have to stay in the stigma of the Nova Scotia cuisine,
Clubhouses and fish
Yeah.
and chips. Yeah.
which is great to see. Like
Yeah.
I love it.
And I think it's also encouraging as well for the up and coming. Like you mentioned, the teams that you've had a leadership role with before this, those team members have now, grown up and moved on, and they're moving into their own roles. I think seeing things, is his name Brian at Bite House?
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, like what Brian's doing with Bite House. If I'm a young chef here in this kitchen or down the road or in Sydney, I'm seeing that and going like, oh man, like I can do this.
Yeah.
And I can be from the East Coast. I don't have to go to Toronto. I don't have to be in Montreal. I don't have to be in Vancouver to do what I want to do.
Yes, exactly.
I think that is encouraging. And for me, coming back here, I was so excited when I saw Bite House. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I was so excited when I saw your menu and your food. And I'm not just saying that because you're sitting across from me. I thought it was different. I thought it was cool and exciting. And I'm excited to try it. And it's inspiring for me to see that there's, yes, you are catering to, what my stepdad is probably going to like, or my mom, or maybe my grandmother, which is really cool. They can get those things. But then for someone like me or my wife or some of my younger friends who want to try something new or different, or at least done a different way, you've done that, which is great.
Yes. And that was the direction we wanted to go right from the get-go. Make sure we cater to everybody, but also have fun creatively. Like, I know the kitchen staff were, like, excited. Like, when we first did the tasting, like, oh, that's so cool. Like,
Yeah.
I can do that. I can do that.
And you'll hear in the background, guys, we're getting ready for service, so I apologize with the ice and the robo coupe, I'm assuming, in the back.
Yeah.
But at least it's working. That's good. At least there's stuff happening. So here at the resort, you guys are open to service from
5 to 9.
5 to 9,
Yeah.
7 days a week.
7 days a week, yeah.
Nice.
So we do breakfast 7 to 10. We have the Kaylee outside from 3 to 6. which rolls into dinner service. So
Explain. We have listeners literally from all over the world that may not know what a ceilidh is. Explain to the listeners what a ceilidh is and why they should be interested by one.
to be totally honest, I don't even know.
How about this? What's your interpretation of it? Let's go with that. How would you describe it to people from Germany? In your own words, a ceilidh is music on a patio. Yeah, it's like a
type of music.
Yeah, it's
like a cult to the culture.
Yeah,
but also like the entertainers do covers and stuff like that for
right.
Like if they're getting requests on the patio and stuff like that, so they kind of do both.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's also, I imagine it's nice for you guys as well as you're prepping for service, just to have a little bit of live music going on in the background. Yeah. Never a bad thing.
Never a bad thing.
Let us step into your kitchen for a minute. I had asked you to ask your staff before we turn the mics on to turn the music down. What is the vibe in the kitchen? What's pre-shift music and who picks it?
Usually our dishwasher brings in. It's kind of all over the place. We're listening to like Fleetwood Mac and then like Tupac the next song. Like it's all over the place. 90s, 1 minute, and yeah.
And then during service, I'm sure everything's
shut
quiet.
It down. Yeah.
And what are you like during service? What's your style? I think the whole Gordon Ramsay thing's kind of been there, done that. As far as like you're breaking dishes and stuff.
I did that in my day. Yeah.
What is your style? If we were to be a fly on the wall during service here at the Inverary, what would it look like?
Stern. Always willing to help. The station's getting bogged down, and just directing, like constantly directing. Like if we're busy, I'm like, yeah, you're working 4 fish and chips, a chicken. You're working 2 pastas, a chicken, the salmon, and just kind of reiterating all the time. Like there's not a minute where I'm not talking in the kitchen.
That's great.
Yeah, so they kind of get sick of it, but
that's how it should be, though.
We know what we're cooking. We know what we're cooking.
I'm a big believer that you can't have too much communication. Like I think it's just in anything, business relationships, personal relationships, like father to son, father to children, mother, all those things.
Oh, yeah.
Communication is key.
Yeah.
Is that something that you were taught coming up or just naturally happened for you? Was it just a knee-jerk reaction to always be communicating?
Working in different volumes of kitchens, I learned, like high volume kitchens, you always got to be talking because you're like in Halifax, I would have like 8 cooks on.
Wow.
And running the board for 2 restaurants.
Wow.
So like you're constantly directing people, and that's where I think I really found that just talking all the time vibe. Like before that was just like, yeah, here's your chip.
Right.
Go.
Talk to you in 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that's working in Halifax really got my leadership in order, not the Gordon Ramsay style.
Right. You didn't feel like you had to smash plates to get attention.
No.
You could run it, without having to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's so key as well. That stuff only goes so long in regards to people getting sick and tired of you smashing plates, and also just it's so tiring. There's no long game to that. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine doing that 5 nights a week?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get an aneurysm.
I did that when I was younger.
Yeah.
A bigger title that I shouldn't have had at the time.
Oh, okay.
So that arrogance kind of.
You felt that pressure. You're a bit cocky. Like I'm this guy. I'm that guy.
Yeah. Young
punk in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But it's nice that you're able to recognize that self-awareness I think is something that's so refreshing. Again, coming back to Nova Scotia, I'm just blown away by I honestly forgot how nice people were here, dude. Like it's crazy.
I remember when I moved here, like from Ontario, I was walking to work and somebody'd stop me and they're like, "Oh, how's your day?" And I was like, "Who are you?"
Yeah,
I was so in shock on how people were so nice, and I was like, "Wow, this place is it's exactly like that."
Yeah, it's crazy.
Coming from like St. Catharines, Ontario, Niagara region to here, it's a big different like culture and
massive difference. Let's take a quick break. I'm going to reset the cameras here, and we'll come right back with a little more information from Chef Jeremy. Be right back.
All right.
Okay, we're back. We were talking about how nice people are in Nova Scotia. I literally was I forget where I was driving the other day, but I wasn't driving. I was about to start to drive, and this is no offense to the West Coast. I love you guys. You guys are all amazing, but I was trying to make a left-hand turn, so I needed to cross 2 lanes of traffic, and this guy just stopped his day. Just stopped his day so I could go. I sat there and just like, this is insane to me. How nice it is, how nice people are, how willing they are to go out of their way.
Yeah.
And that brings me to, again, why I'm so excited to come back here. Like the hospitality scene is so great, but I feel like it has so much potential as well. Like driving here today, I'm seeing so many cool little pit stops that probably have some amazing stories and are doing great things. But then I see, menus that are just, to be totally candid, like they look like they're locked in 15 years ago. But it's exciting to me then to come to a place like this and see that you guys are trying new things. So do you feel like, and this is just your opinion, do you feel like we have enough kitchens like the one here, like Bite House, I can say something like Bar Kismet in Halifax. Do we have enough kitchens that are pushing the envelope, that are willing to say, like, we're not just going to do fish and chips, guys. We're going to do something different? Or do we need more of that to really change the culinary landscape in Nova Scotia?
I think we need more of it on the island itself.
Okay, Breton.
Yeah. Like Halifax and the mainland are doing great things. They're going for it.
Yeah.
I just think, if your business is successful on running fish and chips, fill your boots.
Right.
But like, as a chef that likes, that's just me. I like to push the envelope.
Mm-hmm.
There are many people that do it. Like they do it on their own though. They do like their own little catering companies
on the side, like a little side thing.
Yeah, that they do for like 8 to 10 people at their homes.
Right.
That really
push it.
Go out there and do it.
Right.
As standalone restaurants, I don't think there is enough of that.
Mm-hmm. Can you be one of those like ambassadors? Do you think here at the Inverary, can you guys be a room that really helps the others push it? Can you be a Bite House? Can you be that level and kind of redefine the cuisine in Cape Breton?
I feel we can definitely do it.
Yeah.
I think that's one of my strengths.
Right. Is
really pushing the envelope.
Mm-hmm.
But also doing what we need to do very well, like burgers and stuff like that. But
right.
I've always admired the Bite House and what they were doing, and I would love to do that. Like we're planning a dinner at the end of the season where we're gonna do 10 courses.
Oh, dude, amazing!
By ticket.
Okay.
We're literally meeting on Tuesday about it.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna shut down, and then a week later, we're gonna like open back up for that service.
Amazing.
And just do 10 courses. This is your menu.
Wow.
Just a
tasting menu.
Yeah, and then we're in discussion getting a sommelier here.
Oh wow.
To pair the wines for each course and just explain each course as they come out, and so
that's cool, dude. Just show them what you can do.
Yeah, exactly. And like the bosses are like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, let's do it. So like we're just gonna hammer out the details in a couple of days. So
off the top of your head, give me a breakdown on what could be some of those all-stars of the 10 courses. What would be, if you had to write the menu today, what would be like 3 or 4 that you would be really proud of?
I haven't really given that much thought. Because the whole premise of the menu is what we have left in inventory and where we're going to go. Okay, if we got 30 pounds of chicken legs,
right?
What can we do with them that's going to be fun and new?
Right.
Stuff like that. We got like a bunch of scallops. How can we do a course on just scallops?
Got you.
Like scallop 3 ways or something like that.
Right.
So that's where that menu is going to come.
So it's still just like super fresh, this whole premise, this idea.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I brought it up like 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. Who would be, when you're sitting down and you're looking at an event like that from a high level, when you close your eyes and you envision that evening, who's in the room? Like, what's the demographic? Is it everyone? Like, is it my grandmother and me? Or is it, people like you and I who are a little bit more, quote unquote, hip to the food scene, if you know what I mean, who are open to having some scallop ceviche or having a smoked scallop, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Is that who you envision this night being for, or is this literally for like your Uncle Bob and everyone else?
I think with the following that I have, I feel like there would be some key people like Instagram food bloggers, like stuff that would show up. Mm-hmm. I would really love the locals to trust us to go that far.
Right.
Like not just our core menu, which we push the envelope, but really go
that extra mile.
Yeah, to go that extra mile to get that clientele that will try new things. Mm-hmm. I think that's what needs to change in some sort of way, right?
I think menus like that, I think it's a fantastic idea because it allows you to basically peek your head out of the kitchen a little bit and go like, how did that course go? How did that course go? How did that? And then maybe one of those 10 is an absolute rock star across the board. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then you've just inched your way again down that field a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You've helped open the eyes to the local demographic of like, guys, this is what we can do. It doesn't have to just be X. It can be Z, A, F, G, all those things.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And that's where, in the back of my mind, kind of want to use that to like plan, see how far we can go.
Yeah.
For next year's menu. Like, can we push that envelope a little bit? What's the feedback going to be from our guests? Are they going to buy into it?
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm going to keep my eyes out on that. Just to get the feel of the room and each dish and what they think. And yeah.
You mentioned we talked about the edible balloon and Alinea being kind of I'm assuming like an inspiration or a kind of a mentor for you a bit. Where else do you gather inspiration from? Like, where does that come? Is it books? Is it through Instagram? Is it visual? Is it like you meditate? It comes
a lot
to
of
you?
visual. A
Yeah?
lot of visual. I like to see something and go, I can do that, but what if I did this?
Oh, okay.
A lot of my thinking is, what if I did this?
Okay.
Like,
give us an idea.
So, like the potato salad. I saw this Instagram video a few months back, and it was a potato salad, but it was like a potato peeled very, very thin, and then like he had it like with bars and like it waved in and out. And
Got you. Yeah.
And then he garnished everything. But like that's super cool, but that's not gonna fly on a service.
Right.
So how can I do it a little toned back?
Right.
That way we can do something like that and still execute it quickly.
Yeah.
And it goes the other way around. Like, so the charcuterie board on our menu, the meat, cheese, and honey.
Yeah, I heard it's different.
It's different. That was all because charcuterie boards are so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You got to charge like an obscene amount of money these days because of the price of cheese and cured meats. And
Yeah.
so I was like, first it was a cost thing,
Yeah.
but then I saw like this melon dish, and it was like, just like melon balls and like this sauce, and I was like, I like the look of that dish, but how can I do that to a charcuterie board?
So cool.
So then I was like, okay, we can't have sliced meats.
Right.
So we did like a tapenade, a Genoa tapenade, and pork belly rillette.
Right.
So you're still getting your meat, cheese, and all
Right.
that, but
Just
we're
a different
doing
angle.
Yeah, we're doing a different, and the whole premise was that honey dish that I saw, and I was like, I want my charcuterie board to look like that.
So like you'll take visual inspiration from a dish, but it doesn't necessarily need to be that dish. It could be something totally different. It could be like a lasagna, a deconstructed lasagna dish that you turn into a caprese salad kind of thing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's really cool. It's cool how that's how your mind works. A lot of people are very linear, right? Where they just see just like this is this, where it sounds like you go, this could be anything.
And then when I create the menu, I also have like, okay, this is the plate I'm using. How is it going to look?
Right.
What components?
Right.
And that's like, I go from the pen and paper to the plate,
Yeah.
all in the same time.
Oh,
Writing
okay.
a dish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's not like, oh, I'm going to do a fish and chips, but like, I'm like, no, fish and chips, but this is going to look on this plate.
Right.
Like my scrapbooks are just doodles of plates.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something as well we're seeing is the importance of plateware and ceramics now in the culinary world. It's like it's part of the menu. Like your plate is part of the dish. It's not just a plate anymore.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like it literally plays a role in that particular dish, which I think is so cool. And you're seeing, especially here in Cape Breton, some great local artisans that are doing awesome work with ceramics, like making great plates and bowls and all those things, which is so neat to see.
Yeah.
Again, since I said off the top, time is a very valuable thing, so I don't want to keep you too much longer, Chef, but I do have a few final questions for you. On this trip, I'm hoping to learn as much as I can about the hospitality industry and food in particular in Cape Breton. But if you can end this sentence for me, food related or not, I would truly appreciate it. Cape Breton is...
Cape Breton is hospitality.
I like it. Yeah. I felt it already. Yeah.
Like that's what Cape Breton is.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. Like you said, everybody's just so nice and willing to go the extra mile, and that's what it is, right? Hospitality.
That's Cape Breton.
Yeah.
I love it. The last two questions I've asked all my guests on this show, so we're up to, I think, 200 and some odd now. Two questions I have for you. Stay with me here. I haven't prompted you, but I know you can do well with this. The show is called the Half a Dozen Hospitality Podcast, so I have for you, Chef Jeremy. The first question is the half a dozen have-tos. Stay with me. I need from you 1 or 6 items, so you can do 1 or you can do 6, of things that you've done in your life, food-related or not, that you feel like the listeners have to do. So I need to know Jeremy Howell's half a dozen have-tos. You can do 1 or you can do 6, as the Kelly starts behind us here to end out the interview.
That the listeners should do?
Yeah, something you've done, like a book you've read, or a restaurant you've eaten at, or a mountain you've climbed, or a piece of art you stared at, something that you've done that you feel like our listeners have to do.
The best dining experience I've ever had was this place called Little Louie's in Moncton.
Oh, shout out Little Louie's.
Yeah, it was quite the experience. I've never seen service like that.
Okay.
Food like that. Just the overall, like, proper service. And, like, our maitre d' knew more than the chef did on the menu. And it was, like, super chill. Just had a good time.
Nice.
Like, there was 12 of us that went. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was quite the experience.
So you got to check out Little Louie's.
That was quite the restaurant. Best restaurant I've ever been at. What else?
Doesn't have to be food related. It could be anything. Gaming with your son, you said, is a new thing. You guys are doing a lot of gaming. So time with your kid, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Time with my kid, yeah, it's a lot better now I'm back on the island.
Yeah.
But he's a gamer, and so we play a lot of more Modern Warfare every day. So that's one thing I love to do.
Yeah.
I recently went jet skiing.
Oh, okay.
Just outside here.
Yeah.
The first time I ever did it was a blast.
So much fun, eh?
Yeah.
And with the lake right here, how can you not?
Yeah, I was out for an hour, and I was gone.
They're probably out there looking like, is Chef actually coming back? Is he coming back for service, or is he?
And we also got helicopter tours started here now, which I've never been on an aircraft.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to work myself up to getting on a helicopter.
Oh, so wait, you drove here from St. Catharines?
Yes.
Dude, we got to get you on a plane. Let's do Vancouver together someday. We'll do a little food tour in Vancouver.
That'd be sick.
Yeah? Okay, let's do it. The last question I have for you, Chef, is the half a dozen haven't yet. So same premise, 1 to 6 items. You can do 1 or you can do 6 that you've yet to do yet. Kind of a bucket list. You mentioned an aircraft. You haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Anything else? A restaurant you haven't eaten at, a book you haven't read, a bottle of wine you haven't drank, a version of Modern Warfare you haven't played with your son yet. I'm assuming you played them all.
No, I played them all. I would love to eat at one of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants just to see what it is.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. Probably the Hell's Kitchen one. The newest one, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like I said, the aircraft.
Yeah.
Skydiving.
You know what? You kill 2 birds with 1 stone with that one, right? You got to go up in the plane first, then you can jump out of it. So
I find it scary, but I think it would be fun.
That's the idea.
Just like adrenaline rush.
That's like hopping onto this mic, dude. It's not jumping on the plane, but it takes a lot of guts to jump on a mic with a guy you don't know and just talk about your life. So you jumped out of the plane today, a version of it. So you're prepping yourself. You're doing the reps in the gym, right?
Yeah.
Anything else you haven't done that you want to do?
Well, back in probably like 5 years ago, I was working out bodybuilding.
Okay.
I was almost ready to do a competition.
Yeah.
I was at my prime. I've always been intrigued by that.
Yeah.
To do something like that.
Do it. You got the stature for it.
Trying.
Yeah.
Back to the gym lately, so
that's good.
Trying.
That's good. Anything else?
No? Not off the top of my head, no.
Yeah, that's a tough one. A lot of people do one and they bail on me. So you did really, really well. I want to say thank you again so much, Jeremy. I really do mean it. Time is so valuable, and you've given the last hour of yours to me and the listeners. So thank you so much. I truly look forward to coming down and, as Hilda said at the front desk, like, try everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll try everything, but I'll try most of everything. So I look forward to that. And I consider you now to be a friend since we shared this time at this table like a meal over 2 mics. I consider you a friend. So if I can ever help you or your team, please let me know. And I look forward to supporting you. This 10-course event, let me know. I'll share it with my listeners, my viewers. I'd love to
That would be awesome,
and share that as well. As he said, guys, Cape Breton is hospitality, and I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to have the time to sit down with people like Jeremy. I want to thank you guys for tuning in as you do week after week. If it wasn't for you, the show wouldn't exist. I appreciate and love you all. That's Chef Jeremy. I am Brad. This is the Half a Dozen Hospitality Podcast. You guys know what to do. Until next time, be good and do good. Chef, we did it. You crushed it, man. Yeah, you crushed it, dude. Well done.
Thanks, man.